The old rancher never expected the girl to show up at his door that morning. Mud on her boots, dust in her hair, and fear in her trembling voice. She looked straight into his eyes and whispered, "Save me, 3 times a day, please." He didn't know her name. He didn't know her story. But something in her voice, something in her eyes, made him say yes before he even understood what she meant. And that one decision, to help a stranger, would soon cost him everything he owned, and everything he thought he understood about kindness. Before we begin, if you love emotional, powerful stories about real human kindness, make sure you subscribe to Soul Tales. Hit the like button, leave a comment, and share your thoughts. Your support helps us bring more stories like this to life. The story begins. Tom Crawford had lived on the same ranch in northern Wyoming for more than 40 years. He wasn't rich, not in money anyway. But he had land, horses, and a quiet life that kept him grounded. After losing his wife 5 years earlier, silence had become his closest friend. Every morning started the same way: coffee, saddle, sunrise. The routine kept him steady. But on one cold spring morning, everything changed. He heard knocking, soft, shaky, desperate. When he opened the door, a young woman stood there, maybe 24, maybe younger. Her clothes were worn, her hands scraped, her backpack torn open like someone had tried to rip it off her. "Please," she whispered, I just need help." But not once, 3 times. Morning, noon, and night. "Just save me 3 times a day until I can breathe again." Tom stared at her, confused yet moved by something he couldn't explain. "What do you need saving from?" he finally asked. She looked over her shoulder at the empty fields, then back at him. "From whatever's chasing me," she said, "and from myself." Tom had seen fear before, on the faces of injured animals, on cattle lost in storms, and on lonely people hiding behind forced smiles. This girl wasn't. "Lying. Come inside," he said quietly. Her name was Lena. She had left home after months of emotional abuse from someone she once trusted. She didn't give many details, and Tom didn't ask. He knew trauma when he heard it, and he knew that sometimes people don't need questions, they need safety. In the first day alone, Tom saved her 3 times. First in the morning, when she woke up crying from a nightmare, then at noon, when she jumped at the sound of a truck driving past the ranch road, and again at night, when she thought she saw headlights in the distance and froze like a trapped animal. Each time, Tom sat with her, listened, assured her she was safe. Sometimes he didn't say anything at all, just being there was enough. Within a week, Lena started helping around the ranch. Nothing heavy, just feeding the chickens, brushing one of the gentler horses, or riding along with Tom to check the fences. The ranch had been silent for so long Tom had forgotten what laughter sounded like in his home. But Lena laughed softly when she brushed the horses, joked awkwardly when she couldn't lift a bale of hay, and thanked Tom for even the smallest things, like breakfast pancakes or a warm jacket he lent her. She didn't smile often, but when she did, it changed the whole room. And slowly, Tom realized something. She wasn't the only one being saved. But life has a way of testing kindness. About 3 weeks after Lena arrived, Tom got a notice from the county. His ranch was going under. Taxes overdue, fees piling up. He had ignored the letters for months, convincing himself he could catch up. But reality was staring him in the face now. He didn't tell Lena. He didn't want her to feel like a burden. Instead, he worked harder. Earlier mornings, longer days, extra labor he shouldn't have done at his age. The stress wore him down, but every time Lena asked, "Are you okay?" he forced a smile, because she needed peace. And peace is something a truly kind person tries to protect. One evening, Lena came into the barn while Tom was washing down the horses. He didn't hear her at first, and when she gently tapped his arm, he nearly dropped the bucket. "Tom," she said quietly, "I know something's wrong." Tom sighed. He wasn't a man who cried easily, but life had been hitting him hard lately. "They're taking the ranch," he finally admitted. "Couple months at most. I'm too far behind." Lena's face fell. "This is because of me," she whispered. "No," Tom said firmly. "This started long before you came." She looked at him, really looked at him, for the first time without fear, without guardedness, without trying to be small. And she said something he didn't expect, "Then let me save you now." The next morning, Lena disappeared. Her backpack, always by the door, was gone. Her coat missing, her boots missing. Tom felt a deep ache in his chest. Maybe he pushed her too far. Maybe she left to avoid being a burden. Maybe she didn't want to stay with a man losing everything. He spent the whole day searching the fields, calling her name, riding the horses farther than he should have. Nothing. That night, Tom cried alone at the kitchen table, something he hadn't done since his wife passed. He had saved her 3 times a day, and now he couldn't save her once. But the next morning, a truck pulled into his driveway. The door opened, and Lena stepped out. Her hair was messy, her eyes tired, but she carried a folder in her hand, and a new kind of determination in her voice. "I went back," she said. Tom's stomach twisted. Back? To where? Why? To face the people, the person I was running from, she said. Not alone. I went to a shelter, a counselor, a legal aid officer. They helped me. They helped me for free. She placed the folder on the table. And they helped you too. Inside were forms, tax appeal documents, assistance programs Tom never knew existed, letters from local organizations willing to help keep the ranch running. Tom stared at her, stunned. "You did all this in one day?" "No," Lena said softly. "I did all this because you gave me 21 days of safety, 21 days of kindness, 21 days of saving me. 3 times a day. Now it's my turn." It wasn't easy. The paperwork took weeks. The waiting took even longer. But little by little, hope returned. The county approved part of the tax relief. A local group volunteered to help repair the ranch buildings. And donations, anonymous ones, began appearing in Tom's mailbox. He knew exactly who sent them. Lena never admitted it, but he didn't need her to. Kindness doesn't need a signature. Months passed. The ranch recovered piece by piece. The horses grew stronger, the fields greener, and Tom felt younger than he had in years. And Lena, she wasn't the frightened girl who arrived whispering, "Save me." She stood tall now, confident, healing slowly, beautifully. One quiet evening as they watched the sun fall behind the hills, Lena asked, "Tom, do you ever regret helping me?" Tom shook his head. "No. Kindness is never a loss. It just doesn't always pay you back the way you expect." Lena smiled, small but full of truth. "Well," she said softly, "I hope I paid you back the way you needed." Tom looked at her, warmth filling his tired heart. "You did," he said, "more than you know. Kindness doesn't always show up clean, quiet, or easy. Sometimes it arrives on your doorstep wearing torn boots and carrying invisible wounds. Sometimes it costs you time, sleep, money, or comfort. And sometimes it gives back more than you ever imagined." Tom saved Lena 3 times a day, but she saved him in a way he didn't even know he needed. And that's the power of kindness. It doesn't keep score. It simply transforms lives, one brave moment at a time. So wherever you are, whoever crosses your path today, choose kindness. You never know whose life and whose heart you might save.